All right, hello world.
What's up,
Absentee
everybody?
Project. Chuck Geiser with Seven Faces on the Hope and Fear site. We were just chatting, playing drums in Puffytown, and we were talking about Chuck's past. And pretty good time.
Yeah.
Let's pick up about your drums. I love your drum set.
Thank you.
Tell us about your drum kit. Is your equipment real quick?
Sure. Basically, it's a Star Classic. I got a couple of them. I got two of them that are exact same kit, two different colors.
Where did you go?
They are Thomas Star Classics.
Oh, where did you go? Buffalo?
Oh yeah, I got them at Guitar Center. I think I ordered the first kit, and then I ended up seeing the other kit, the red kit that you guys see out. I saw that on Tonawanda. So my wife's like, "Why don't you buy it?" And I'm
What
like, "All
color
right."
is that drum set?
It's wood.
No, what? It's just
wood.
a wood finish?
It's a wood, but then it's like tinted red. So you almost like see like a transparent.
When you guys
red.
get out and see Seven Faces, you got to get a close up of his drum set and go get a look at this thing. And it's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
thanks,
stunning.
man.
I mean,
Thanks.
I love the deep red. You know that in my drums,
yeah.
but like to have that, like, it had a mix. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
was so
if you look at it, you can see all the grains.
I didn't know that was a grain.
And then my other one that I had is It's the exact same kit. It goes from like a light blue, almost to a white. And then as it goes out towards the center of the drum,
okay.
it gets darker and darker and darker.
Hmm.
That kit was so pretty that I didn't want to take it out. And in fact, I used an old Tama Rockstar kit that I've had my whole life, basically. I used that in the room and live, and I didn't want to take this kit out. And then I was like, I'll just play live with it. And then, like I said, my wife and I were in Guitar Center, and we saw the red one. She's like, get that. And I'm like, okay. You
Yeah,
said I
when
can't.
you
I'll
get
take
the
it.
okay
That's
from
right.
the wife, you
Clearance
go.
from the tower, you take off, right? So that's what that is. And then I stick with the Zildjians. I had a bunch of Z's, and then those kind of broke over the years. And now I pretty much have A customs.
Do you like your A customs too?
I do. They're a bit bright. They cut nice, but they're a bit bright. Even when you hear them back, I notice that the louder I play, the brighter they get. So
That's
I try
nice.
to keep check on that.
Nice.
You know, just as a courtesy to whoever's listening or the people that are playing with me. You know?
Yeah. Again, no. Well, your custom rack too is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all that Pearl Icon stuff, and I noticed like there's.
Okay, you made that?
Yeah,
No?
yeah. So I basically just bought all the parts.
Okay.
And then I took it. I have a shop, metal shop, and I took and cut it down to length. I started with the toms. I have I had a regular stand for the two toms. I still play like I have two bass drums.
Yeah,
Right.
it's set
so
up for that.
I still have. It's just the
So you're the
natural
Tommy
feel.
Alvarez, the two toms in the center.
Right,
Yep,
and
yep.
I still angle my right kick like I have a left
Yep.
one.
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
just a natural feel for me. And
Yeah.
so I started with my tom rack, and I started so that it's like a little bit of an arch, and then I pick up my other cymbals along the way. The only thing that's not part of that rack is my hi-hat stand. So
Okay.
it holds the toms, holds all my cymbals on the left, and then I built one on the right to hold all my cymbals on the right. Then when I get done with a gig or get done with breaking down,
I've
it
been there for
literally-
this part.
Oh yeah, thanks by the way, and your wife,
And my wife.
Jeez.
Oh, grab this other end.
yeah,
Watch your head.
So once I rip down the cymbals and get them cased up, then literally you're grabbing two
right.
things.
It's beautiful.
And then away you go.
Yep. So you have two halves to your kit, and then everything comes off.
Right,
of it,
and the
except for all the brass comes off and
Yeah,
it stands. Everything
exactly.
stays.
Everything stays.
Yeah.
And the real beauty of it is that once you set up, it's set up.
Yeah.
You literally know where everything has to go based on those toms.
Yeah.
And then basically everything kind of hugs you,
Yep.
and then
That's
you're set up
beautiful.
really quick.
And
And
it's
we're
always where it was.
right, exactly where it was.
Saving your knuckles.
Absolutely. And the one thing that we like to do is be professional at shows too. I mean, we're in and out off
Yeah.
stage.
Yes.
You know, I mean, how many times have you been to a show and see a guy taking the cymbals off on the riser? It's like,
Oh, I want to strangle that
I'm like,
kid.
come on.
Don't be
man.
that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Okay, I don't want to
Lesson
strangle
learned.
you. I
Lesson-
don't mean that.
Lesson learned. It's just courtesy. I mean, you can take your cymbals off anywhere, right?
Hand it down.
That's
Get
it.
out of the way.
That's
The
right.
next gig's coming up.
That's
The real,
right.
like.
And even those racks, they are heavy, but you take one side
Yeah.
off, and all the cymbals are attached to it.
Yeah.
Get it on the parking lot, then let the other band set up.
Yeah.
That's always been my thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
I
makes it
agree with
easier
that.
for us as well.
Would you ever consider two live bass drums in the future?
Sure, absolutely. I love the feel of it. I mean, the one thing that I do know
You
is
can
that
change the tone of it too. That's the fun
yeah,
part.
you can, and not only that, you can feel it, right? If you have
Yeah.
that lag between that arm, I mean, I always play double bass, you know, as long as I can remember.
You're really, really good double bass.
Thanks,
by the
thanks
way.
very much.
This kid is freaking.
When I
Danny Nelligan's another
I can
double
still.
bass
I saw that interview.
monster.
That's really
Yeah,
good.
He's
one.
a monster with
I,
double bass.
I still feel that latency a little bit. You know,
Yeah,
so you had
and then your head's punched as it's getting punched again, so it's another
it's
kind
weird,
of feel on the
yeah,
same drum.
and so you have to learn. At least I had to learn. You know, I'm all self-taught with this stuff. I had to learn where to put my foot for different patterns because if not, you wouldn't be on time.
Okay.
You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
hard enough for me to be on time when I'm on time, but whenever you're trying to play a more intricate thing on the kick, you have to know where that feel is. So that took some time.
Yeah.
But when
Cool.
I came back to playing music again and I joined this band, it was the first time I played with a double bass pedal.
Oh, really? With Seven Faces?
Seven Faces, yeah. Because in my other old band years and years ago, I had two 22-inch kick drums, and you don't realize it's different until you do it for a while. And I got used to it, and now I enjoy it. I went through all the pedals that I could. I bought these Tamas, I bought these Tamas, I bought these DWs, I bought these DWs. I settled on the 9000s.
The DW 9000.
I still people make fun of me, but I still use felt beaters, like the old felt beaters. I don't use the plastic ends or nothing like that. I just feel they feel good to me. You know, I may not get I should take that back. Like when we did the last album, Dave St. Ange recorded Above the Below. And he was like, let's get a little bit more attack, for sonic reasons.
Give you a wood hammer?
But feel-wise, it didn't bother me in the studio, but playing live, I like that warmth that I get from that old school beater, which is weird. My buddy Mark Conlon makes fun of me from Beat Rapper about that all the time. Like, old school beaters.
Yeah, but you don't have any problem driving an old school beater.
No.
Your bass drum always cuts,
Yeah, right.
I like a wooden hammer. But a wooden hammer's dangerous.
Well, it was funny, just jamming with these ones, I felt that a couple times on my shin.
Oh my God.
You get cracked with them for sure.
Oh yeah, but you get the the pad, and then I gorilla tape it.
Yeah.
So I double. So it takes a while to get through the and then
growing up listening to like Pantera and stuff, and how do you get that sound? How do you get that click? And that wood hammer. It's like, geez, I'm not that big of a guy. I don't want to beat myself up doing it. That was part of the reason I didn't probably use them in the beginning. Bigger ones, bigger beaters, especially the bigger ones. Like if you buy a DW 9000 or an Eater 5000, the other things on the end of those are giant. They're mountains, of mass. So you're trying to swing into that, and then you play it for an hour. And we don't play the fastest stuff, but it's not the slowest stuff either.
Right.
It beats me up a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, let's talk about when you're playing next. Was it next week?
Next Wednesday. Rockin' Buffalo. It's our 10th anniversary show.
Yeah, we got to see this.
Yeah, it's our 10th anniversary show. We're on that with
Coffin Hook. I know.
No, they had to drop off, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the name of the first band slips my mind. I apologize. But our friends, all that.
Oh, that's on social media.
Yeah, it's out there on social media.
We're not about that anyway. So the
Eyes of the Blind.
Eyes of the Blind, and I think Hope and Fear did something with Eyes of the Blind.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, they're Colin and Andrew. We've known them guys for a long time, and that's their band. And
that's cool.
Fantastic band. Great vocals, great melodies, good stuff, really good stuff. But they're going to close the show out for us, and that's next Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve. Rockin' Buffalo. Yeah, and there's another band. I apologize, it slips my mind. I should have wrote it down.
Yeah, we should have wrote it. But we're drummers and we don't write anything down.
We don't write anything down.
Thank you very much for not writing anything down.
Thanks, man. There you go. Sure.
So that's funny. Let's talk about the Rockin' Buffalo. Just when Hope and Fear got going, I bounced out. Rob, I caught he was playing down the street, and Rob, his guitar player is my old guitar player from Gotno, years ago, and so we went down to see him, and that's when I met Coffin Hook too, and I hadn't been out in a while, and you guys really, really kicked my ass. I mean,
thanks,
so bad, like I was sore for like 3 days.
Is that right?
We were fucking
into
going
it, huh?
out of our minds.
Oh man, good.
Jumping up and down, and I even got a T-shirt out of the deal.
Yeah, you did. There it is.
Yeah, and
nice.
We had a lot of fun, and it really lit me up to like. More back into I was never a metal drummer. I was more a punk drummer, so I just
Sure.
And metal was like with my experience with Rob,
and
like his style, and like it was really, really cool to see him up there with a whole different team.
Sure.
And, like it was, you guys are fucking.
Well,
awesome.
I'll tell you, those guys.
You guys are fucking awesome.
Thanks,
man.
I appreciate that. And look, I feel like that I'm the imposter in that band because those guys.
You came in later.
I came in after the first album was recorded. Like I was telling you, I think when I first listened to the first album after they asked me to join, I was like, I don't even know if I could play this stuff.
Yeah.
It was that good, and the first drummer was really, really, really talented. He's been around for a long time, and really, really, big shoes to fill, especially after taking a long break from drumming. I was a little intimidated by it. Then I learned a few songs. One thing led to another, and I ended up joining Seven Faces. And I remember being intimidated by that. And then even now, I mean, our first show was at the Hard Rock Cafe on a Friday night, and I hadn't played in 18 years in front of anybody, but here go, it was nerve-wracking. It was amazing. It was a fantastic time. But the quality of musicians that I play with, Jason Offerman, his bass playing is incredible. His singing is incredible.
Yep.
Scott Hubble, he was in back in the early '90s when I was playing around the scene. He was in Public Nuisance, and he was a fantastic frontman, and still is. And of course, Rob
Great
Hall.
frontman.
Rob Hall is I would put him up against any guitar player in around.
His feel and his writing and his the way his charisma on stage. Just the whole everything Rob does.
And
is
to top it off, he's a nice guy, which sucks too because you can't be mean to him.
But
that's
no, you can't be mean. The band, he never gives you a reason.
This band is one of the funniest things, and we never argue. It's a democracy. It sounds corny to say it, but I mean, we've never had a situation where we're not doing that or this. It's always been whatever happens, and it's been fun. If we go back to in the early '90s when I had another band, I was so in love with it and so controlling over it, I strangled it to death.
But
and then
yours to strangle though.
But it wasn't. But I thought it was. I thought it was for whatever reason, but I did, and I said when I came back I would never make that.
Well, okay, that band. What was the name of that band?
That was Axiom.
Axiom
was early.
Okay,
90s,
do you have anything that like on old YouTube that's out there?
Yeah, there's some stuff on YouTube.
Look it up.
Blind Melon shows and stuff.
Look it up. Yeah.
But it was fun. But like I said, when I joined this band, I felt like I don't think I could hang with these guys, and it took some time. I mean, I hadn't played in so long.
Yeah.
The first couple practices were really.
And they were going strong too.
And they were in the thick of it. I mean, they just put out an album. They had a monster drummer.
Right.
And they had a good fan base. And here I am going to walk off the street after almost 2 decades of not playing. Here I'm going to jump in your band, and so I'm humbled by it. I'm humbled to be here with you, Jeff. To be honest with you,
well, thanks, man. That's pretty cool. Again, why we do this is so we can local. We're a bunch of local guys, and everybody. We were just talking about that earlier. Everybody's a local guy. I don't care.
Sure.
Like fucking Kiss is a local guy
That's
somewhere.
Right, somewhere.
So so we're for us to we loop it all together. It's like we all go back deep somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been in this game for a long time, and so have you.
Sure.
And our comrades and everyone else like take a few minutes to watch and chat with us. It's like, we played the Continental with these guys. I remember Jungle Stud and the Vitamins and bands like that were stupid. That just were out there at the same time, and we had a lot of fun. And so what we want to do is kind of like light it up a bit. And we were just jamming in there, and it's just a blast.
It's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting to do different stuff like that. That was fun, and
it's not too often you get to sit down and just jam with other drummers. Right?
Yeah. It's usually only one drum set in the room.
Yeah,
that makes it hard.
Yeah,
sit on my lap, we'll play together, right?
Or tap on something over here.
Here's a stick, go over there.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the Puffy Town Studios here is where Hope and Fear records and plays. And the nice thing, like we were just talking about bands, there's only 2 of us in my band right now. So I mean, we have 2 of us on a machine. So we tell the machine what to do, and we tell each other what time to be there.
Sure. Right. It makes it easier to schedule stuff, right?
And it's a beautiful it's camaraderie rock bands.
One of the things that I found was cool when I came back around into the scene was just how cool people were again. You know what I mean? And I remember
so fun to
when we were younger, and I guess this still happens, I guess, but when you're younger, you look at things a little bit differently. You think that just because you're good, which there's a lot of good bands out there, that you deserve to be signed and you deserve to have a record deal. And in the early '90s, that was a much bigger possibility than it is today.
Right.
If you're really going into this stuff.
Or do you really want it, though? That's the other end of it. It's like, no, you look at it closely. It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, that's some thick shit.
You look at these bad deals that people sign, and how do you do anything different? I mean, look, we're a metal band, but we're more of a hard rock, edgy, with a metal edge, I would say, due to the vocals and how great the vocals are in Seven Faces.
Fantastic vocals.
And those guys can sing, and we use that.
Now when you guys went in the studio, did you guys all sing in the studio, or was it
everybody but me? Obviously I don't sing.
I mean, but you did in the bathroom.
Yeah, they don't even let me do that. I'm not if there's a mic in the building, I'm not allowed to sing. But that's okay with me. But they do. They like this last album that we did. Scott was very adamant about doing single tracks only. He only wanted to do one layer, and that was it. And because there's so many compliments to the vocals.
To do it live?
Not only live, but the vocals. If Scott's doubling up his vocals, maybe Bob's don't come through enough.
I see.
Or Jason's don't come through enough. And it's just an outlook he had. He wanted to make it simpler. We did some really interesting
You
things.
can really do a lot when live. I mean, that's
Right.
what it comes down to. Is like people really, they really want to hear it. Like if you're doing it, they want to really
And
hear
if you
sing.
if you ask Scott that, he'd probably tell you he did it for another reason. I'm just bringing my own reason, but I think that's it.
Fucking Scott can do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants. He's strong, man,
Because
right?
he's pretty damn good at it.
he is good at it.
You
No
know.
doubt about it.
You got a really good band, and it is really fun to watch you guys.
Thanks. And like I said, I'm very humbled to be in it.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, you know what? Let's go back to the year you jumped in. What was it?
2013.
13.
Yeah,
So
end of 12, 2013.
you got a bunch of years with these guys now. 10
yeah.
years is your anniversary.
Well, it's
this
10th
coming up.
anniversary. Yeah, I've been in it since 13.
And I've been following you guys for about 3 years now.
Is that right?
Yep.
We
And,
made Above the Below. Empty Pushes Back was the first album that they made. Fantastic songwriting. And then we made Above the Below with Dave St. Ange at the Digital Barn. And like I was telling,
was it Doug?
Doug White we did part of the next album with him.
Okay, yeah.
So I'll explain that to you in a second. But we did that first album with me in the band. And like I said, I don't care what happens with the rest of it because it's exactly the album I always wanted to make.
Yeah.
I mean, from beginning to end, these guys, I don't know if they did it to be nice to me or whatever, but if I said, hey, let's try this, they were like, yeah, let's do that. Even song orders and stuff, which,
Okay, The Hill? Is the name of the song, The Hill?
Yeah, The Hill's on that. My daughter sang on part of that. And they obliged me with that, which was great. And it was really cool. And so I look at that album, even down to the artwork on it, it's exactly the album I always wanted to make. So the rest is,
cool.
The rest is gravy. So then we decided on the third album that we were going to try something different. We wanted to try some different studios. We did the first 3 songs at Dave's place. I'm very comfortable at Dave's place. I really enjoy working with Dave. Dave pushes me a little bit to be a better drummer, to be more musical. And after working with him,
Do you fight with it?
I don't.
Those guys have the ear though, and that's.
I don't like. There's never anything he really said to me. Like
No, I would trust
If he
him.
said try this, I would try it.
Yeah.
And if it didn't sound good, then we booted it. It's not like it wasn't a huge part of the writing factor. But if there was a break in the song and I wanted to do a fill through it, he'd be like, try that. And one of them ended up being one that he suggested. It worked out good.
Yeah.
So when we did this last album, we're like,
But then you're stuck with it though.
Yeah, it's
you
okay.
gotta remember that.
Yeah,
though.
that's true. You live with you live with it, right? It's like a scar.
It's like,
right?
yeah, you guys want to hear this shit, but
Right.
I gotta play this. Like,
But
'cause
what's funny-
you play like to the album.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. With Dave though, I mean, I poor Dave. I mean, I hadn't been in a situation where I ever played with a click before.
Oh,
I never
really?
played with a click. So they're like,
was it struggling for you?
And
or?
Rob was like, you gotta play with a click, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I can do that. So I practiced with it a bunch. Then you get the nerves of the studio, right? There's a song Incomplete on the album that it took me like 20 tries to get right. And then we spent like one whole day on this one song. And then after that, I think I knocked the other 7 songs out in 2 days. So I mean, it was just a matter of learning it. Learning. Anytime you do something that you're not good at, that's why most drummers suck, right? Because when they try to play drums, or that's why drummers don't become drummers. Because when they try to play it, they're like, well, I can't play like Neil Peart. Can't play like so and so.
Right.
So screw it. I'm not going to put it in the effort. Well, you got to put in decades of effort.
Yeah.
You mean to be able to play, you have to learn how to
learn how to make mistakes.
Make mistakes.
And it's usually on stage.
So going back to the album, of course, right? Which is my fear of all fears, right?
Like things go flying.
So
just
absolutely, and that's but yet the older we get, the more
better
care
you get at it.
More care we take to not having that stuff happen. Is everything tight?
Like
is everything
these,
right?
exactly.
Right. Is everything
good?
good?
Right, drummers? Last minute check.
Cymbal
Tighten this shit.
stands,
Like,
you know?
as soon as you hit something, you're boom, it falls over.
Look, if you play a cymbal and it falls down, that's your fault, drummers.
That's right.
You got to check that before the show starts.
That's right.
So this next album, we were like, let's have this great idea. We're going to play 3 songs in 3 different studios.
Okay, so you hit Watchmen.
No, we actually hit Dave's first.
Okay.
We hit Dave's first, and we put that in the bank. And now
Okay.
we're like, okay, we know what we get out of Dave, and Dave is going to set the bar. And he did.
Okay.
And then we went to Jimmy Nichols' studio, Shredley Studios. We did 3 songs there. Totally different.
Okay, so drums, everything.
Yeah, we drums first.
Okay.
We record everything separate, obviously. I don't know if that's obvious, but
Yeah.
we'd record everything separately. And then Jimmy's place was completely different vibe, different
Neat.
approach.
Okay, I can't wait to hear this album.
Different approach, obviously different sound.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the way I record it. Trust me, and we did. And then we went out to Doug's, and Doug was really cool. He did something that I never did before. He's like, you know what? We're not playing live. He's like, Rob, you're gonna do a scratch track of all 3 of these songs, and then you guys can go home if you want. Chuck's gonna be able to play with it forever and not worry about the pressure of performing.
Right.
And literally, I finished those 3 songs in 4 hours, maybe.
Uh-huh.
And I was happy with them. I was thrilled with them. I'm like, this is great. You know, it was so easy. There was no pressure.
Totally different.
And then I was like, I'll never record drums again any other way, no matter where I go. I'll be like, listen, give me a scratch track, make sure it's on time, make sure it's the right length, and then just
it's
go
like
home.
playing to a record.
Go home. In fact, I didn't even realize I really actually learned that at Dave's, because we had one part in the one song that we recorded with him on this last album that it would bother me. It bothered me. And you know, Dave he's a magic man. He can do anything he wants. He can fix anything. And I'm like, I can't have that. I got to have the feel.
What was it?
Feel. It's a middle part in the new song called 41. And it's a real intricate double bass with the rhythm. And it's kind of real. It's real punchy, but real rhythmic, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm not happy with it. So everybody left, and now he's in Ransomville, right? I know I got an hour drive back. You know, I'm like, you know what? I'm here. I might as well stay here and finish this. So I just said, let me keep playing to this, and I literally re-recorded that section. So here we did the same thing we did at Doug's place, but without me even realizing that that's exactly what we did, and how easy it was to do. And that's something I learned at Doug, and I learned a lot from each one of these different places. And that our whole goal is, what are we missing, or are we missing anything? And at the end, we weren't missing. I mean, Dave's place is so great sonically, but maybe the things that we learn from other studios will help us be better musicians. Maybe it'll help us record easier, more cost effective, certainly too. You know, the less time you spend on stupid drums, the more time you got for vocals and guitars.
Right, right. Right, when Hope and Fear went in the studio, it was funny because we rehearsed up here. I hooked up with Jay in the fall, and you know, he had a date set. He said, "Look, I got some studio time already booked at GCR. It's in, you know, February, and you know, it was like October." So we slammed out a handful of tunes, like 6 or 7. And, and he was just like basically like just playing the guitar, and like he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the other thing." And like I was like, "Okay." So all I really knew was what, you know, in his loop, and that was like basically my click track. So the loop is like the beepity boppity I'm playing to. And as long as, and I've been really, ever since Rob, bless you, Rob, locked me into a click track to play with that loop and the whole with Godlow. I mean, I had to. I mean, it was like, you get some stupid fucking looks if you fall off of that. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to get that look from it, especially. The guitar player look. You know that guy look?
Right.
Because we're always back here.
That's your fault. We are, actually.
We get the back of everybody.
Think about our view for a second there.
And that's where it really helps.
And the lights are so bright you can't see past the asses of the band members in front of you. Seriously. Right? You don't see past the stage.
We're blinded. So anybody, please come up to the front of the stage if you wanted to see me. Say something. Throw something.
Yeah, just not at me, just around us. So we know, get our attention.
I guess the best part in a studio, or the best advice, is going in knowing you really, really have to know what you're going to do and when you're going to do it.
Rehearse your songs. I mean,
you got to know the material. Look, you can't. I mean,
the one thing that I was always adamant about, even in the first band, was, you know, practice.
Yeah.
You got to practice
your
ass off. I went for such long stretches of my life where I didn't play drums. But when I did play drums, you know, even with Seven Faces, we rehearsed 2 days a week.
That's a minimum.
Wednesday nights and Sunday afternoons, and you know, we throw the Bills game on Sundays in the room, and you know, it's background, and we write and rehearse music, and that's the only thing.
When you guys write, do you guys like now you're established, and I know how it is, like you're in it now. Mm-hmm. You're all together. It's like, do you guys come in and say, hey, you know, I picked this piece up and played this, or you just start kind of just fiddling around?
Honestly, a lot of times what we do is we have a recording set up in there. It's just a small, like almost Pro Tools setup.
Just to catch
and we literally will just let that run. Recently, what we do is we walk in and I throw you know, these phones are incredible now. I literally throw my phone on my case, and we literally just start jamming. And the last song we wrote was just from riffs that came out of that.
Nice.
You know, hey, that riff's great.
Nice.
Let's bring that back next week, and then we'll come back the next week, and he'll work on it, and I'll bring something in, and then that's how we build all of our songs. They're all built in parts. They're all built in pieces, like puzzles.
Yeah.
And you know, if it's hokey,
pretty much you guys do it in your workspace.
We don't take anything home.
Yeah, so you're pretty much working 2 days a week, you know, and then you're getting. How do you guys do? You know, you guys are pretty busy for a band.
Yeah, we are all busy. We all have adult, grown-up lives, and families and kids and all that stuff. And you know, when we rehearse, we try to write on Sundays, and we jam on Wednesdays.
Okay.
So like
If you got a set
we're getting
list
ready
you're
for this
working
show. Yeah, we're getting ready for this show. We have all of our songs that we ever wrote on the board behind us, and we know we just pick from them. And usually based on guitar. Whoever has the one guitar on that day for whatever tuning it is, that's the set we practice.
Oh, okay.
You know, so like the first two albums are different tuning than the latest stuff.
Oh, I see.
You know, so I'm always like, hey, let's play this, and they're like, no, wrong.
Good thing
tuning.
we don't have to do that, right?
And I'm like,
Our
what do you mean
stupid
wrong
drums.
tuning? Put the guitar, put the other guitar on. How
So
hard
whack
is
it a different way.
You know, what? Turn that knob at the top of that thing. Doesn't that change the notes or something? You know, whatever. So that's how we build it. And then if we're into something, we'll work on something for a minute. Like we just finished one up. You know, we start the set with it. So we start the set with the thing we just finished, and then after that we played the whole set coming up for this show, and then at the end we're like one more time.
Yeah.
And then Sundays a little bit
So you
lighter.
keep it fresh.
Sundays are a little bit lighter. Now we're in show mode, so we have our set, and we practice at beginning to end. One of the things that we're doing more of is fills between songs. I hate dead space. You know, me and Jay will always play a lot, something between. I don't know if you notice that when we play, we're always keeping things moving.
Yeah.
You know, I got that. I saw Seven Dust back in like early 2000s, 2001, at Showplace, and Morgan Rose is like probably one of the most amazing drummers I've ever seen, like physically. And the stuff that he plays, you look and you're like, what? How did you even think of that, right?
Right.
But I watched that show, and he never stopped playing from the beginning of the show to the end of the show.
So he just kept
He would finish a show. He would finish a song and just keep playing through it. And I was always like, that's so amazing because no one's bored.
Right.
You know, he's not playing a drum solo.
Right.
But him and the bass player, you know, and the guitars are keeping the room full. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no stupid, hey, I'm glad to see you.
Yeah, there's a dead space that gets a little weird.
And these guys bring it, you know. And I think that this band that I play with, and I literally categorize those separately from me. Those guys separately from me, they're so good.
Dude,
I'm a fan of this band. You know, I think that's what makes it easy for me. Because I'm a fan of the band. I'm a fan of the music that they write. I'm a fan of the people that are in it. It's easy. And I said I don't really. If I joined this band, when I did join it, I'm like, I just want to play drums.
Right.
I got a business to run. I got family.
And you were running the other band, and it was hard to.
Yeah, it was just. I did it wrong in my. Looking back in hindsight, I strangled it. And I was young, and I didn't give anybody any freedom. I didn't say you can't do this.
Well, how old were you?
Well, yeah, I was in my early 20s and stupid, but it was one of those things where I said I just want to play drums.
Right.
And they let me. Then they let me say things about music, which is kind of cool. And they listen to me, and it's a real team thing.
Yeah.
But just playing with those guys is so easy. I mean,
when's the album going to come out?
I think we're wrapping it up now. It's all mastered. We got to the point where we were at the end. We finished at Doug's. So Doug, we just said master it, finish it up. You got everything here.
Yeah.
We're happy with everything. Just do it. And now I think we're waiting for artwork. I want to keep it simple. And I want to let it go. We just released a video called Waxed Ashes.
Yeah, check that out.
It's on YouTube. It's on our Seven Faces channel.
Yep.
It's the first video we ever did. It was Dave Hall's, Rob, our guitar player's brother's set at the Lancaster. Was it Lancaster Opera House? Yeah, it was Lancaster Opera House, I think it was. And it was an amazing set that they already had set up. They had an actress who was fantastic.
Really cool.
It was kind of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of vibe, and it fit the song well. And we basically went in and said, we just want to shoot a video on the stage. And they were like, yeah, but we got an idea. And we're like, what's that? And they're like, well, let's bring in lights. We have this giant room that's amazingly set up already. And we got this actress, by the way, and part of her character, she's in this cage. We're like, yeah, that's pretty wild, because the song is kind of about people hiding behind computers and technology and stuff, and not really knowing who you are. And it kind of fell into play. I mean, it plays really, really good for us. And then the editing, again, I sorry, I don't know his name. He's at the end of the video. You'll see it. Make it to the end of the video. You'll see his name.
Right.
But yeah, he did such a great job with it. We put it out right before Halloween, and it had a kind of a scary feel to it. It was kind of really neat.
Yeah.
But if you watch that video, you can really see amazing vocal range. You can see how we look at the music as a piece of music, not just a lot of loud noises, which is easy to do in a metal band. You don't want to be too loud and driven and then go, well, that just sounds like the same song from the beginning to the end.
Right.
We still want to have character and flavor to it.
Yeah. So I'm interested to hear the dynamics of the next album. Are you gonna set? Have you decided the layout? I'm sure, and where the songs lay in and out.
We're getting that. And the interesting thing is because
are they staying where they were.
I don't think so. No. I think they're gonna move around a little bit from the way we recorded.
That's gonna be cool. But it's gonna be mastered by the same guy.
Yeah, it's all done. The music's all done.
Yep.
And we're happy with it. We just don't have the order yet. And which is neat though is because we can tell where everything was done.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
of course.
I don't know if anybody else will.
Yeah.
But it makes a different flavor to it. I mean, it kind of does a little bit of a seesaw with it, and it's neat to hear. I just don't know how I'm interested to see how it's all going to come together. I mean, if I could do it again differently, I would have probably.
What do you think?
I just like the whole vibe of being in one place.
Yeah.
Like when I set up at Dave's place, I have the whole drum room.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very similar to yours in a way, the way it's set up out there, and it's there. I think about it in the day. I know it's sitting there waiting for me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like change that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really felt comfortable there. I don't know, you know, if we'll always stay in the same place, but I know we'll never do 3 songs in 3 different studios again.
Yeah.
You know, it was fun. Like I said, I'm glad we did it. But it took a long time, as you can imagine. We've been working on this for over 3 years.
Yeah.
Over 4 years, actually.
Yeah, and it, like you said, give you a different flavor, so that's what you're trying to do.
Right.
And we'll see what that, what's the name of the album?
We think it's going to be called The Threes.
The Threes.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing if you look it up. You know, there's a lot of things that go in threes.
Yes.
You know, the fact that
dying.
It was funny, right? Yeah, you two more. I need 2 more, right?
Fuck.
Wait a minute. Did I know them?
Yeah, no, I don't really know them. It's like you know them.
Start over again, right?
Shit.
Yeah, that's that old.
Yeah, that's fucked up. It's funny.
But there's a lot to it, you know, and it was funny. It's kind of corny, you know. I told one of the guys in a young band, these young guys. He's like, that's corny, but cool. I was like, yeah, all right, as long as you say it's cool at the end of that corny.
But you don't forget it.
What's that?
You won't forget it.
Forget what?
The Threes?
Oh no, you won't forget it. But it's interesting because there's 3 studios, 3 songs each studio, and it's our 3rd album. So I mean, it all works. Whether it's cool or not, I guess that's from the eyes of the beholder. So.
I don't know. I kind of like it. You know, what else? I mean, whatever. I mean,
it's like I said.
It's got Threes lined up.
It's a good product. It's gonna. I think people will like
cool
it.
Artwork.
Yeah, I think people are gonna like it. I think it's got good flavor. There's a lot of melody to it.
You think by Christmas?
No. I don't think it'll be by Christmas, but I don't think it'll be far after. Like I said, we're just waiting for the artwork to come in, and then once that happens, you send it out, get printed out.
When are you gonna do a release party?
Probably, sure.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
You guys should have Open Fear help you out.
We should. I would imagine that. I don't want to commit to that on camera because then you can't commit to
neither
it.
can I.
And then everyone would be like, hey, you know it's a democracy, right? We don't even know.
Wait a minute. They're not a metal band.
Yeah, right?
We don't even know what we are.
I'll tell you, and that doesn't matter. Music's music to us, and that's the thing. We'll play with anybody.
Yeah.
We
feel the same way.
And it's important to do that, and not only that, you gain fans. Don't tell me that everybody that listens to your band never listened to a heavier album or even a lighter album. I mean, the things that I like, people would be surprised that, you're a Metallica fan, you grew up with them. Well, what else do you listen to? I like a lot of different
all
stuff,
kinds of stuff. I mean, there's stuff on the radio that, like when I was growing up. All those stuff is just I don't know. Some of it was even cheesy, and I liked it.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, there's all kinds of that stuff, even in the hair metal.
Did you play along to music and stuff when you grew up? Or
yeah, I had to. Like I grew up in a house that had drums in the corner all the time.
Your dad was a drummer.
My dad was a drummer, yeah, and so I would throw on like a Steely Dan album, or in the 70s. You think about the 70s, the Eagles. I mean, 10cc and Jethro Tull. And I'll tell you one cool thing though that my dad had was he brought back from Vietnam a TIAC reel to reel.
Oh.
And he actually has to this day. He's got. I would imagine he still has it, but it was a Paranoid. Black Sabbath Paranoid on reel to reel. So then imagine that you're 8 years old, right? And you throw this reel to reel on a dark. And because you don't want to wake anybody up, you got headphones on.
Oh,
and you're listening to that. That's what you grew up on. That's what I grew up on. I'm like, yeah, I got it. This is exactly this is the music that I like. I relate to this.
There it is.
So I would play to that. Then I played around with a bunch of kids in the neighborhood that had a guitar and this and that. And then I quit playing. I moved up here in '87. I quit playing for a bunch of years. And then I joined a band. We started a band. My friend Rich Ashton and our other friend Ron started a band and got Pat Griffin and Mike Huber, who Mike's a fantastic bass player, and Pat was always a great singer.
Mm-hmm.
And we started writing music.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Axiom started in the early '90s.
Yeah.
And we did well. We did really well. We were playing all the bigger rooms in the area.
Okay, now '90s were a different breed because we didn't have a lot of phones and things to distract us to say, well, I don't have to go, someone will film it, I don't have to be there, or
mailing lists. Remember, you had to write the mailing lists out on the table.
Stickers were important.
Right.
Stickers on fucking everything.
We got one of the coolest things we ever got. We got this letter from Russia.
Really?
We were on a compilation
No way.
someone put together, And then the guy gives us this long letter from Russia, how he bought our album instead of a pair of jeans or something. You know, we're like, whoa, that's crazy.
Wow.
Buy jeans, dude. It's cold in Russia, you know?
Yeah,
it's just an album, you know? But yeah, it was really neat to think that here we are rehearsing in Absolute Storage in Kenmore, you know, go and make this really inexpensive ADAT demo, you know, at Music Magic maybe it was.
There's a lot of different studios.
Anyway, it was Select Sounds, like
Select
Little Sister,
Sound,
you know. And then
live 2 tracks.
And then to find out, some dude in Russia's got it. We're like, that's crazy, you know.
How the fuck are you there?
Yeah, I don't know, but
it had to actually physically get there too.
It physically got there. Yeah, I don't know if this company that put it out, you know, got it that far or whatever, but it was cool. But yeah, the mailing lists. You had to literally write to people and tell them that your show was coming up.
Or
the
flyers.
Dude,
Jesus,
the flyers.
the
How
flyers.
many nights at Kinko's, taping shit together and photocopying it, right? And putting them everywhere.
Or taping them.
But then again, things were different back then. You know, we tell
Motley Crue did it.
We tell people you could go to a Thursday night at Blind Melon's example, long gone, but one of the best stages in Buffalo ever.
Building's still there.
Building's still there, right by the airport. But this place on Thursday night was ladies' night.
Oh, God.
And you remember, you could smoke in bars back then.
Yep.
DWIs, you didn't get them. You got warned.
You gotta go home.
You gotta go home, straight home.
Don't let me.
Don't go to Mighty Taco.
And then he'd see, and he'd see, he's like, damn it, he'd drive by and he'd like look at you and he'd keep going.
So I mean,
those were the good boys, the good old days.
You would go there on a Thursday night and there'd be 100 people there, a building crowd. Yeah. And then you start making a little waves, and it's 125.
And it's ladies' night.
And it's ladies' night, and you know we did very well back in those days. The Continental Impact was big.
Yeah, Goo Goo Dolls were going strong back then.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and it was easier. You know, it was nothing to get people at shows back then. So you got.
That's what we did. If you wanted to go to if you had that in you,
that's it.
That's what you gravitated to go find these bands.
That's right. And there were great bands back in those days. I mean, there were a lot.
People weren't afraid to throw a bottle at you either.
No, they weren't. And there's a lot of great bands now.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just I don't know.
It goes to the. I don't think as many people to see it as much. So I could be wrong. Maybe it's just my band that they don't come out to see.
We've had plenty of shows where no one's at ours either. But that's the way it is. It's hard to get people out. Yep. You know, everyone's busy. It's so convenient for everybody to not do anything and look at this instead. And let's face it, right? So
we do a live Facebook thing, so people are thinking, well, fuck, I see you guys all the time. It's like, but that's rehearsal. We're fucking up. We're shining up for a show to come see. You know,
absolutely. You know, and that's still the thing. You find bands out there that are great. Like I love Pollock, for instance.
Yeah.
You know, they're always so cool, but they're always so polished too, and they work. They love their craft. They love what they do, and it shows. You know, Coffin Hook's another one. They're right next to us in our rehearsal space now, and
they're a lot of fun.
Dude, I listen to those guys, and I'm like, damn, that is so good. Yeah. I mean, it's just so good. It's inspiring. Yeah. You know, and the fact that you said that we inspired you to get a little bit, you know, gritty again and get back into it and just feel it differently. That's awesome to hear. Yeah. Dude. How many people do you do that for? And that's all. If you don't know for one person.
You don't know that. You see, there's like I've seen this in a lot of faces. They you always get that blank look, but you never know what they're thinking. Right. You know, I'm always thinking the natural. Right. Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it?
Well, you know, it's like how many people in the back of the room do you stand there and they fold their arms and they just make no face? Do you think that they don't like what you're doing? Or should you work harder to get them to like it, or should you not care what they think? Right. Well, in reality, you shouldn't care, right? And that's the way I look at it.
But
listen, this is the best effort I can give this band. Yeah. Which beyond these other three guys, I really don't care what anybody thinks, because no one's going on tour if you're not already there. No one's making millions of dollars selling albums anymore. You know, it's so hard for anybody. I mean, if kids are really thinking about doing this for a living, you better not have a home address, because you can't be in one spot ever. Yeah. You know, like Dreadnecks is a great example. Right. I'm rooting for those guys because they're really good dudes. And they're really great musicians and a great band, and they're out there touring on it. But you have to. They need to just sacrifice everything that they have, or are built to this point, and just go. And I'm rooting for them. You know, we're like the elder statesmen at this point, going, go kids, go. Right. You know.
Yeah, we got the house here.
Yeah, we'll make sure. We'll always have a place for you to come back to.
We got the house.
That's right. We'll always have a place for you to come back.
And like you said, you know, you get further in your life, it's like, I would love to go do that, but you know, who's going to pay all these bills? Who's going to run this shit when I'm gone? Sure. And that's a real fact when you get older in this game.
And Jeff, I'll tell you, you know, the thing that I was telling you earlier, and again, we talked too much before the interview, as most interviewers do. But that's what happens, right?
And we forget about
we forget all the shit we talked about. Yeah. So, but what I was saying about that is, like, when I came back to play, it was a decision that I made sacrifices to do. You know, I mean,
And your
I
family
had to
knew
give
it, though.
I had to give up something,
Yeah.
in order to do it. Again, it didn't hurt us any, fiscally or anything like that. But the bottom line is that I had to definitely give up something to make space for it at this point in my life.
Yeah.
And what's amazing about it is it was the best decision I made in a long time.
Yeah.
Just what I got out of it. I mean, I played the ballroom with Saliva, and I'm thinking to myself, and I was there, I'm like,
Holy shit.
it's the ballroom,
Yeah.
3 years ago, I never in a million years thought I would ever play live on stage again, which was the only thing I really missed. I didn't miss writing as much as I thought I did.
Rehearsal's tough
But
sometimes when
I like rehearsal because I know that it's that break. It's like mowing your lawn,
Yeah.
right? When I mow my lawn, I don't worry about the work because it's a time where I have to myself.
Right.
And when I'm behind my drums in the room, I'm by myself, even though I'm with 3 dudes, right?
Yeah.
But that was the thing that I missed the most was that whole live feel, that whole just being able to express myself like that.
Yeah.
So to get that reward and then to
And
be able to
the
have
sound.
nice shows,
The
just to do the show.
boom.
We were talking about this the other night. When I first came back, my second show, we opened for Diamond Head at the Forum. I'm like, it's Diamond Head, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Diamond Head, dude. Go back and look at their catalog. Metallica wouldn't be Metallica without Diamond Head.
And just think if you sat there and you didn't do shit.
Yeah,
and you
and
didn't want to do anything.
And dude, 2 years, like I said, 2 or 3 years before that, I was never ever gonna jam in another band again. And here I was given this gift, and that's the way I look at it. It's a gift.
It is
And
a gift.
I'll enjoy that gift as long as they'll have me,
Yep.
and as long as I can physically do it. And like I said, my drum set's getting closer and closer to me.
You're just complaining about mine so far away.
I'm buying things for my kids so I don't have to play as hard and I can still hear myself. But it's making my life easier as a drummer and getting older and we're still producing pretty decent music.
You guys are doing really good.
Thanks.
And I love the sound.
Thanks.
You got a cool vibe. Your stage presence is real good.
Thanks. And we like each other, and that's an
And
important
you can tell
thing too.
that,
We're friends, and that seems weird, but we really are. And there's
Oh, you have
there's
to
no
be, though.
animosity in that
Yeah.
band. There's no egos. And that's age.
Yep.
I mean, Jason's the youngest. He's our bass player, and he's our youngest guy. I think Jason just turned 30. But he's always like an old soul.
Yeah.
And he just lays it down. And like
He
I
does-
said, when I play with Jay, it's the pocket. I mean, we're just naturally a good fit together, and it really shows. I think
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Beautiful. Super solid.
Thanks.
So we're gonna really look forward to this new album coming out.
Yeah.
I know that the world's gonna know when it's released.
Thanks, man.
Be no joke there. I really hope we can do some shows together in the future, out there somewhere.
Yeah.
They're talking about doing a festival here someday. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I'd gather up as many bands as I could.
You got the room. You could do it.
Yeah, I know.
That would definitely be cool.
Yeah, it would have to be strategic.
Sure.
Maybe even under the wire and kind of beg forgiveness to the
Yeah,
town.
yeah.
One of them deals. It's like,
Sure.
oh shit, I just having a party. I didn't know there'd be
Yeah.
a plane with a banner
Yeah,
saying
right.
a party here.
Just
I didn't know that.
Just a circling blimp.
But to get the word out, maybe like Woodstock Field. But
Yeah, sure,
I really want to get a bunch of bands involved and really have a lot of fun. I mean, you guys are just so much fun to see.
I appreciate that.
And like Coffin Hook and those guys, and those bands like I've met along the way, like Super Bob, they don't tour anymore.
Mhm.
They toured like 300 days a year. They were insane, and these guys were so good. And,
Yeah.
And they it just got to an end where they did the thing, but it's like you have to go out and catch these fucking bands while they're there now because they're not always going to be there. And,
Sure.
And Super Bob was in town, and it's like, damn it, they're not playing anymore, and I missed them my last opportunity. I kicked myself in the ass for that, so I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's that.
You know
It
what
is
I
one of
mean?
those things that if you get a chance to see the band you like, you better go see.
You better go see them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, because things change, people change.
Absolutely.
And it's like,
Absolutely.
no matter what.
And we talk about the scene. A lot of people say, well, it's a bad scene in Buffalo. It's not. There's plenty of good bands.
It's a tight scene.
There's plenty of bands out there that play live that you could go see. And it's tough if no one knows about it.
Right.
So the more people reach out, share things.
But this is a good opportunity.
It's a great opportunity, and I appreciate it very much. So.
Doing things where like this where you can promote a little bit. And we're talking about your show next week. Next week Wednesday. I mean, Rockin' Buffalo, the sound man.
Oh, geez, that place.
He's a fucking animal.
I'll tell you, Joe Toll is
He's an
the
animal.
easiest. He's the easiest sound guy to work with. If he likes you, you'll
know
know
it.
it. You know it. If he doesn't like you, you know it.
Yeah.
But he is definitely
really
old
the best.
school, amazing experience. And he makes it easy for you. And I played with a lot of sound guys over the years, and they could give a shit whether or not you can hear anything.
They're standing there.
They don't care if you hear anything. They don't care if the levels are right. They don't even care if they got enough mics for the drums.
Yeah.
Joe cares, and there's a few out
You
there
can
that do,
tell.
and you can tell.
Yeah.
Absolutely, the sound in that room is good. It's loud. Remember, bring your earplugs if you come out to the Rock and Buffalo.
Loud.
It is loud.
Yep. And
clean.
And another thing, when you're there, I want you to tip your bartenders.
Tip your bartenders, yeah.
Always tip your bartenders, and buy a fucking T-shirt.
Yeah, buy some swag.
And buy some stuff, because
and don't just buy our stuff. Buy stuff from anybody, any band.
Buy
you
Hope
like
and Fear stuff. Buy Coffin Hook
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely, definitely.
I know STEM is doing some work right now, and that's
Nice.
really exciting, because those guys are fucking top notch.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, look at how many waves they made. You know, even when I was out of it, I knew who they were.
Oh my God! And like, you know, because me and Danny sat down, I was like, I'm digging through his past. I was like, jeez, kid, he never stopped for a minute. You talk about double bass. It's like his career was his legs just slamming him through these. Like he still does it today.
Yeah.
I think he's playing with Monsters down the street at Rock and Buffalo. I think this Friday or Saturday. I want to go see him.
Right,
you know?
nice.
He's
right.
constantly playing.
Yeah, right on.
And he's such a great guy. You know, straight edge.
Yeah, I saw that interview that you did with him there.
Yeah, super. Oh, we kicked the shit out of these for like. Oh my God, I was sore for days after that. It was funny. He's really good.
You're trying to get me to get
said the
sore
same
again.
thing. Man, you reach far.
I can't reach that far, man. You gotta see this drum set's 8 feet away from everything.
Everything's like I was like.
I can't even ride. I have to stay on the ride because it's the closest thing to me.
Well, it's basically a jazz set, but double bass, but too fat.
It's fun. It's good times. Yeah, this the new album should be out. I'm hoping within the next few months.
Yeah, we'll go for 2020.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be 2020 the way I see it. But check out the video.
Check out the
Wax
video.
Ashes, it's called.
Wax okay.
That's on our Facebook, Seven Faces on Facebook.
And where do you think you're gonna want to do your release at? I mean, you're gonna stay on the
I would say Rock and Buffalo.
Yeah.
I would push for Rock and Buffalo. It's got the best stage. It's easy for people to get to.
Yeah.
And
there's never cops any there. I've noticed, because it's weird. It's like that Cheektowaga where West Seneca. It's like
it's easy to get to. It's right on Union, right?
You know, the 400's right there.
Absolutely.
Boom, you're gone.
Mike Shearer, the owner, is really great. Loves bands. Loves live music.
You can tell.
Really,
is great.
Just a really great guy, and he really goes out of his way to, like when we asked him months ago for this, Thanksgiving Eve show, which is a big bar night in Buffalo. He was like, absolutely, you guys can have it, and we were glad to take it from him,
cool.
and we're really glad that he gave it to us too, because there's a lot of bands out there that he could have given it to very easily. So he's great. Joe Tall is amazing. The stage is great. The sound's really great. And it's a great live set.
The lights are blinding.
If you talk, yeah, they always are, right? But if you talk about like live, I mean, that's what most people don't realize as a drummer. We always get the worst sound. I mean, literally, if you can hear some guitar, you got something good.
We watch hands and arm moves,
we
and
watch
stupid
heads.
looks. We know we're in the wrong place.
We watch head nods. We watch head nods, and if there's a break in the music, you got to really listen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
if anyone's talking to you, it's like, what?
What?
What'd you say?
So I mean, that's the greatest thing about playing with a sound guy like Joe. I mean, he knows what you need to hear.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, maybe the very first time he meets you, he might not be the best aid to your sound, but if he likes you and respects you, he makes damn sure that you get what you need.
Yeah.
And that stage is like front of house to me, you know, where I hear everything and I feel everything. You know, we were joking about my setup and stuff.
You plug in, so you actually drive your bass right through your seat.
Yeah, I got a Porter Davis, and that thing is amazing.
Yeah, see
and
sounds
you know, to be able to just kick it like this and you feel it all the way through your rear end and up. I mean, you know, it's just like sitting in, you know, on the best subwoofered stage you could ever sit on, and that's what makes drumming to me fun. That's what I always missed.
And you're hopping then.
I mean, like even whenever we come back and play some of these shows and where there was no sound, right, and you just had like, you know, your PA and the you know, the gear and all that stuff, it was like hollow. You know, and I'm like, what can I do to make this better? Yeah. And I didn't know anything about that seat until I actually saw, it was a Modern Drummer magazine, they had an ad, and I'm like, what is that? And I read into it, and I go on YouTube and look at the reviews of it, and people are like, you have no idea how amazing the seat is. And I'm like, I gotta buy one. So I bought one, and lo and behold, I get one that's got a tear in it. And they're not cheap, and I call them up, and they're in the UK. I'm like, hey, I got this tear. And they're like, send it back. We got another new one coming your way. Just that easy. And I'm like, this is amazing. You know, and then all you do is you hook a mic up to it and put it anywhere near your kit or anywhere near your kick.
Okay.
And like right now, mine's kind of modified onto my rack. I actually have a Audix mic, you know, from my rack that feeds my seat. But I'm gonna put it inside. I'm gonna buy a suspension. rig for it, so it's in the kick all the time. I have to deal with it. But that is
huge.
It's just incredible. It literally, if you can imagine, as drummers out there, if you can imagine, having an 18-inch subwoofer next to you,
Every time
and
you drop your bass drum.
And that was the thing, like these old venues that had big risers. When you kicked the drum, you felt the whole riser shake.
Yep.
And I missed that so much. Well, that seat will do it for you. And
That
no
is,
problem. No problem.
you've really piqued my interest too. And Christmas is coming.
It's incredible.
And my wife, insists
She
on
loves
buying
you.
me more
Yeah,
drums.
She loves you. She might as well
Yeah,
buy
she
you something
does.
nice. That's right. That's right. It's incredible, and even if you ever want to check it out, you're more than welcome to come to our room and check it out.
Yeah.
We'd love that.
Actually, because your next door neighbors with Coffin Hook, I'm gonna make my way out there.
Yeah,
one of these
yeah.
days.
It's a fun. It's a
you guys
fun
rehearse
vibe.
on the same days or something?
Wednesdays, I think we do. Yeah,
Cool.
Wednesdays we do. What was cool, we moved out there, and we weren't sure how being in a facility with a bunch of bands was going to be.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it was really a great shot in the arm for us, because it's funny because
Who
we
you-
always laugh because the bathroom's right next to our room. Right, so everybody that's taking a piss is listening to Seven Faces rehearse. You know what I mean? So you almost got to make sure that you're at least trying. You know, so it's kind of cool. It's a neat incentive.
Yeah.
And it's
Did
been
you ever
fun.
play at the Music Hall?
I did not. I played at Absolute Storage in the very beginning, and then
Okay.
in the beginning of Axiom, I bought a house and we moved into there, and we're in there, and I missed it. I mean, back in those days, Share Cat was there. I mean, Cannibal I think was finishing up towards the end of that. I think they may have had a presence there, but I think they were already in Florida by that point. But there was a lot of bands that were bigger.
And you go down the
bands.
hall, and it's like
Yeah, I mean, Manic
Piss Loud
Jasper
past
was down
doors,
there.
yeah.
I mean, we had great bands in there, but it was almost a camaraderie, but it was almost a little bit of almost like a, I don't want to say like a
well, you're
a
playing
challenge.
the same clubs though.
Yeah, we are. It's almost what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I know. What is that word?
It's inspiring to be around. It's almost intimidating, but inspiring at the same time.
It's not a competition.
Competition,
but
that
it
sounds
kind of
like-
is though,
It-
because
Of course it is in a way. Human nature, you want to do the best.
you want to be the
can,
best band and have the
or
best
you just
drum.
want to at least compete.
Yeah.
Right. I don't care if I lose, but I want to compete. And I think that is cool to have that vibe again, is to be around other bands like that. Especially a band that next door is just is Coffin Hook, and they shake our room, and it's amazing.
That's awesome.
Then across the hall is Jimmy V. I don't know if you ever heard him play guitar. I believe that's his last name, but he's been around for a long time too. Rob and those guys know him a lot better than I do. But their
what's his
band,
name?
Jimmy V.
Jimmy V.
Yeah, I think that's his name. But anyway, this guy.
I think I'm friends with him on Facebook.
I seen him play, years ago, and he blew me away, guitar wise. And the band, I've never met the band or even seen them, but I know that's his room. Holy shit, these guys are unbelievable. We're like, oh man,
What's
that's
going on?
really good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
Never seen anyone come out of there.
In the very first hallway of our rehearsal space, it's us three bands. And you walk through that hallway past us three bands. I mean, there's gonna be some wow, that sounds kind of cool, or that sounds kind of cool. That's usually the way I am.
stay
when I
in the
listen to
middle.
the other two bands.
And you're definitely in front of the door. You know it.
Yeah, you're there. So that's kind of neat. That's a neat new thing for us.
That's cool.
Is being in a rehearsal room with a bunch of different people. which
Yeah,
is kinda
I
cool.
know. Well, Godlow was over here, and we would
At the Music Mall?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like the bathroom was kind of like I can compare it to sort of like the one at CBGB's.
Oh, I've been to the Music Mall. Yeah, I know. All my
Jesus.
Gorilla Punch played there, and
I don't think that straight bleach would fix that room.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, a lot of bands that I knew, because when I was still friends with the guys, Kevin Peace, Bob Hall, were still in bands together, Mike Valeni.
Yep.
Mike, those three guys, when they were in Manic Jasper, when we were with Axiom, we played a lot of shows together. So we became really good friends with those guys. So when Mike and
You hanging around in there.
Mike, Mike and Kevin and those guys were there, I'd go in there every now and then and see them. But yeah, I know what you're saying
It's
about
an
it.
interesting place.
It is.
I couldn't understand about that, and I don't know why, but I mean, you would think that it would be safer to have a building like that open in a 24/7 kind of, and like have it open for the bands, because let's say we move in and out in the middle of the night, that's
Right.
our job. It's 2:00 in the morning.
Right.
Well, these places lock you out. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I think it'd be safer to have it open and
Yeah.
because then surveillance would be like, be odd to have.
Yeah. We're fortunate the space we're in now is 24/7.
Yeah, that's
But
the way
it's
gonna be.
nice. It's nice having access to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
You got a lot of room in those vacancies, or
Yeah,
sometimes,
well, I think there's a bunch of bands in there. We took the last room, and in fact, they actually had to rip a wall down between the 2 little rooms that they had to make it big enough for us. So they accommodated us, and
that's cool.
And we love it. It's really cool. We went in there, threw a coat of paint up, and put some sand panels up and stuff to make it kind of vibey.
Yeah.
And it's cool, you know, little Christmas lights here and there. You know, you're like the captain of lights around here, but it's really a nice vibe, you know.
Well, you got to get to the point where you're just gonna break the breaker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, because we don't need plugs.
Yeah, everything comes out on one. Just lots of lights. Yeah. So anyway, we won't take up too much time. So next week.
Next Wednesday.
What is today? Well,
it's the 18th today. The 27th is when we're at it.
Yeah. So
27th, Rock and Buffalo.
Rock and Buffalo. Come out and see these guys and keep an eye out for the new album. And
definitely check out the video. Facebook.
Check out the video.
7 Faces.
Yeah. And there it is.
Well, thanks, Jeff. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate you having me out.
Awesome, Chuck. Thanks for coming on. Again, the Absentee Project, Hope and Fear. We'll see you guys again out there in the world somewhere.
See you, folks.
See you, folks.